shall we rank our favorite movies of 2005?
All right, I'll go first. I've got some honorable mentions here. I've got 47 movies on my best of 2005 list, so I saw a lot of movies that I really enjoyed. I'll just hit a couple of the honorable mentions that were in the top 20. A lot of international films. I've got Mind Game, that we've talked about before on this podcast, that came out in the States in 2005. An Iranian film called Turtles Can Fly. That's very good. Cuban film called Viva Cuba. And then I also follow a film from South Africa called Yesterday. And then I have a Palestinian film called Paradise Now and an Israeli film called Walk on Water that I've
seen all of those movies.
Yes. So there's some good stuff in there.
The ending to Paradise Now is brutal.
Yeah, the whole thing is kind of a hard watch. And then some of the other ones maybe a little more known that were in my honorables. I like Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. We've got Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, Danny Boyle's Millions, which is kind of an overlooked movie in his history, and the Noah Baumbach's Squid and the Whale, which I really like.
I think Harry Potter got knocked out of my top 20 by Capote.
Oh, that's fair. So now we get into the real meat, the top 10. My number 10 is Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash biopic. We talked a lot about biopic on this episode earlier. I really like this. Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon are fantastic in it. Robert Patrick is really good in it. I actually interviewed Joaquin Phoenix for a different movie. It was called Lighter 49, but that movie, he was doing the press for that movie while he was filming Walk the Line, and Robert Patrick was in that too. So I actually got to interview both Joaquin Phoenix and Robert Patrick, and I asked Joaquin about this movie a little bit, and he talked about it a little bit, so that's kind of cool. But regardless of all that, Walk the Line is excellent. James Mangold directed, so no surprise. Number 9, David Cronenberg's A History of Violence. Oh, what a cool movie. Viggo Mortensen is great in this. Maria Bello is great in this. Ed Harris, William Hurt. William Hurt is one of my favorite performances for a limited amount of time. He's got like 9 minutes on screen, but he's just amazing in all 9 of them. My number 8, the movie we talked about at great length, Capote. That's where that landed. Number 7, a movie I know you've seen. We talked about Tommy Lee Jones and some of the movies he's directed recently. I have The Three Burials of Melquiades Estrada. Really like this movie. Again, cinematography is great. I kind of love that dusty Western style. And Tommy Jones, pretty good director. Speaking of good directors, we've got at number 6, I have Fernando Mierle, however you say his name, the director of City of God. His follow-up to that movie, The Constant Gardener, with Ray Fiennes, and Rachel Weisz won her Oscar for that movie. My number 5, then, a movie that you and I saw together, which George Clooney's kind of revisiting right now, Good Night and Good Luck. Story about Edward R. Murrow, at this point played by David Strathairn. Clooney, who directed this movie, is now playing Murrow on Broadway and has a really bad dye job, and his hair looks ridiculous, but I'd still like to see that play. I think that'd be cool. Number 4 is a movie I know you'll have on a different list, but it because we covered this movie, but it came out in the States in 2005. That's Bong Joon-ho's Memories of Murder. This movie's awesome. There's so many cool drop kicks in it. Just a really cool.
We did a whole episode. We did a podcast about it.
We sure did. Yeah, it was a fun one, and it's just a fantastic movie. I'm actually kind of eager. I haven't watched it since we did it for the podcast, but I think about it semi-frequently. Yeah, great movie. Number 3 is Brokeback Mountain. Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal are just both fantastic in this. I mean, I'm sure people listening to this podcast know about that movie, but Michelle Williams is great in this too, and so is Anne Hathaway. It's a really, really sad love story between the two leads there. Ang Lee, of course, directed that. I don't know if we've talked about him on the podcast much before.
We just did an episode about Ang Lee, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman.
Oh, right. Yes. That's right. I was thinking of something else. Yes. Ang Lee, who we just spoke about on our Eat, Drink, Man, Woman episode. Brokeback Mountain, probably his best, most highly regarded film, I would think.
Oh, highly regarded for sure. Best? Arguable.
Sure, definitely. My number 2 is Christopher Nolan's kickoff to the Batman's trilogy, Batman Begins. This movie's amazing. We've talked about it, I know, quite a bit before. I love this movie. Liam Neeson's is amazing in this. Cillian Murphy is great in it. Christian Bale is such a good Batman and a good Bruce Wayne. Phenomenal. And then my number 1, again, a movie we reference all the time, 40-Year-Old Virgin, the best.
So lots of overlap. But not total. I'll quick go through my honorable mentions in my top 20. Just first, Brokeback Mountain. David Harbour recently talked about how he was the third gay cowboy in a movie about 2 gay cowboys. That is a very funny thing for him to say. He's very funny and a major highlight in Thunderbolts. Mm-hmm. And this is in no particular order. Munich, Steven Spielberg's Mossad movie, Bubble, which we talked about recently on our Steven Soderbergh episode. Capote's in there. Walk the Line's in there, which you mentioned. I have documentaries in my list. So Werner Herzog's Grizzly Man's in here. Ron Howard's Cinderella Man's in here. Craig Brewer's Hustle and Flow is in here. Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit is in here. And a movie that I just saw, my last honorable mention, a movie that I just saw discussed at great length on Corridor Crew, talking about the visual effects, which are incredible. This was going to be the start of this amazing creative use of green screen in movies, Sin City. And it kind of led to a bad reliance on green screen in movies that people are sort of just now getting away from. Like part of Thunderbolts, we've talked about that a lot, but I just saw it. Thunderbolts has a little bit of that in the beginning and then does a lot of on-location shooting, which immediately makes the movie look so much better. But Sin City used like very ultra hyper stylized version of this, and I think it's a very cool movie that I actually want to watch again. I loved it when it came out and sort of like went down in my estimation because Frank Miller stuff got kind of played out. And now I think I'm back to being ready to really love this movie.
Yeah, all your honorable mentions that weren't on my list, I like all of these movies, and they were just a little bit lower on my list.
Number 10 is Garth Jennings' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This movie is the most fun. Sam Rockwell cannot do wrong in my book, and he's hilarious in this. Stars Martin Freeman and Mos Def, who's apparently not going by Mos Def anymore, Yasin Bey. Zoe Deschanel is fine in it. She's a little annoying. She's not Jess. We love her as Jess. This is a little bit more like 500 Days of Summer, Zoe Deschanel. And Alan Rickman is great as the voice of the depressed robot. My number 9 is Rian Johnson's directorial debut, Brick, a great noir, great neo-noir that takes place in a high school. Really cool. Stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's the most underseen and underrated movie in his filmography of 100% bangers, except I don't love the Brothers Bloom, but whatever. Some people do. My number 8 is Shane Black's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Robert Downey Jr. is on fire here. This was his return. I think this was like his big comeback before Iron Man, obviously, and he's amazing in it. It's so much fun. Val Kilmer, incredible.
R.I.P.
Yeah, we lost him recently.
Yeah, that was my 21, so that very nearly would have been on my list. Yeah, it's a great movie.
I remember watching this at a friend's house and being like, am I crazy or is this incredible?
It is.
Michelle Monaghan, also super hot in this movie. And good. She's a good actor. White Lotus, she was great. She was great in this. My number 7 is Mike Mitchell's Sky High. I think this movie is a lot of fun. I've been saying that a lot about these movies. I guess in 2005, I was just looking for things that made me feel good. So this stars Michael Angarano, who recently made his directorial debut with Sacramento, a movie I don't like. That stars Michael Cera and himself. But he and Mary Elizabeth Winstead are high school students in a high school that is made entirely of superheroes and sidekicks. And he wants to become a superhero, but he has no powers. But his parents are Superman and Wonder Woman, essentially. Kelly Preston and Kurt Russell. It's so good. This movie's like really sweet. It's got a little bit of Robert Rodriguez Spy Kids vibe, but it's not so CGI garbage as those movies. I say that after talking about his CGI garbage movie Sin City, but it's good, especially like as a bit of a antidote to the quippiness and then all over seriousness of other superhero movies. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I like that one too. And R.I.P. to Kelly Preston as well.
Yeah, she died a while ago.
That was sad.
I don't know why I felt that was important to say. My number 6 is the 3 Burials of Melquiades Estrada, which I watched because I wanted to do an episode about Tommy Lee Jones and you didn't catch up in time and we never ended up doing it. But this movie is dope as hell. I've never seen a Tommy Lee Jones directed movie I didn't like. We did an episode on The Sunset Limited, which is a great two-hander that he directed.
Yeah, we can still do it.
We could.
I can still catch up.
Let's see if he ever directs another movie. My number 5 is Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan's best Batman movie, in my opinion. I think this just rocks so hard. My number 4 is George Clooney's other movie from 2005, Stephen Gagan's Syriana. This is Clooney's espionage political intrigue movie about the overwhelming influence of oil in the world. This led to an amazing, he won Best Supporting Actor for this movie and led to an amazing speech where he gets up on stage to accept his award and says, guess I'm not winning Best Director. That is the Oscar speech I remember more than any other Oscar speech. And I love Syriana more than most people. And I was like, no, you deserve it for Syriana. You're so good. Matt Damon also stars in Syriana. It's a huge cast. Jeffrey Wright was my introduction to Jeffrey Wright. Great movie. Chris Cooper, also in Syriana. Because I do documentaries, my number 3 is Murder Ball, which is a documentary about the quad rugby team, the American quadriplegic rugby team. These guys are hard as hell, and this movie goes hard as hell. I remember walking out of this movie and thinking, I am not doing enough with my life physically, given the gifts that I have that these guys don't have. Mark Zupan, who is the main focus of the movie, I believe his story is he fell asleep in the back of a truck and it got into a car accident. He became paralyzed. He was thrown from the truck. Incredible story. And these guys are just like so gnarly, and the things they can do are great. And also just like formalistically as a movie works really well in a way that I think a lot of modern documentaries that would be about the same subject wouldn't work as well. My number 2 is David Cronenberg's History of Violence. This is my favorite Cronenberg movie. It is gross in a way that a lot of his other movies aren't gross. Like the body horror is in what people can do to each other's bodies in real life, using guns mostly, and barbed wire in one case. Ed Harris is incredible and so scary as not even the main villain, as the heavy. And then William Hurt is the main villain, and he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this movie, which always baffled me. He's very good, but it's like he's in one scene, really, and he gets wasted almost right away.
But he's perfect.
Yeah, he's great. And then we just watched Alice, the Woody Allen movie Alice, and he plays the cuckold husband, and he's so boring in it, and he's perfect as the boring husband. I guess he wasn't a good guy in real life, but
Ah, damn it.
Rest in peace either way. This also features the most awkward sex scene you'll ever see in a movie between Viggo Mortensen and Maria Bello on their staircase. I remember, did we see this there's no way we saw this in theaters together.
It's certainly possible. I mean, it came out right around the same time as Good Night and Good Luck. So
okay, so fair. Right, we saw Good Night and Good Luck together. So I remember sitting in the theater and being like, I am incredibly uncomfortable during that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's one of my favorite movies ever, really. That opening diner scene is so wild.
So good. Yeah, man, what a great, I need to rewatch that movie.
Me too. So good. Of that trilogy of like regular movies that Cronenberg made, this, Eastern Promises, and the Sigmund Freud movie.
Oh yeah, Dangerous Method.
Dangerous Method. This far and away the best. Although Eastern Promises is very good.
Eastern Promises is very good. Dangerous Method I remember being pretty good too, but
that's
not
all right.
Not like amazing. Yeah.
Right. And then my number one is The 40-Year-Old Virgin, because I live and breathe and I host Never Did It. And that's how that works. We are, as a preview, we are going to do a retrospective of The 40-Year-Old Virgin in August in honor of its 20th anniversary. Yeah, this is my favorite movie, I think, period.
Yeah.
Annie and I just rewatched it. I'll rewatch it again in August. I've seen this movie 50 times probably.
Yeah, Meg and I just rewatched it not too long ago too.
Yeah, it's the
because we showed it to one of Megan's sisters who hadn't seen it before, and they were like, "It's okay."
Oh, Annie liked it. I was so relieved because she didn't like Superbad when we watched it.
Oh, Megan loves 40-Year-Old Virgin. It was her sister who didn't love it, but Megan loves it too. So we'll watch it again.
Yeah, I think it's objectively a good movie. Like, even if you don't have it, for one thing, it's a huge part of our friendship. Apatow was like the biggest thing in the world at the time.
Everything he was touching turned to gold at that point.
Yeah. So granted, we have like historical context added to it. I think you and I say bullshit of all bullshits more than we say anything else, period. I can't hear the word club without saying, you mean a nightclub?
So someone said something about connection the other day. I was like, yep, life's all about connection.
I heard it in a podcast and they weren't referring to this. And I'm like, are you sure you're not referring to this? Because it is not about
No.
And it is not about it is not about it is about connection. It's about children.
Megan said, she had seen someone's ultrasound. She's like, oh yeah, someone was showing us pictures of the ultrasound. I was like, oh, is that the movie about babies who are geniuses? And she about died.
So anytime I have now co-opted that because I've become such a Boss Baby defender. That anytime I have to mention the Boss Baby, I'm like, Boss Baby, the movie about babies that are bosses.
It's such a giving movie.
And also it gave us Steve Carell. Like, it is very important because he gave us Steve Carell. Now, he took a little break recently, but he is in a bunch of stuff coming up. He's in a new TV show with Tina Fey on Netflix that's supposed to be pretty good. He's in that new movie by the guy who made Succession. That's an HBO movie.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a very interesting conversation about this on Twitter recently. I still punish myself and go on Twitter sometimes.
Ugh. And
people were complaining. They're like, this looks like crap. This looks like Succession. You can't make a movie that looks like that. I'm like, this is airing on HBO. It's going to be on Max. There is a 70-year history of television movies. And some of them are very good. Like this, it's okay for not everything to be on 70 millimeter. It doesn't need to do that.
Not every movie has to be Oppenheimer.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes the Sunset Limited looks like two guys on a soundstage, and it's incredible.
Yeah, it's a very small part of what can make a movie interesting.
100%. And TV movies are dope. I had the same argument with someone who was like, I wish Black Mirror wasn't on Letterboxd. And I was like, those are movies.
Yeah.
Every episode of Black Mirror is a movie. Some of them are feature length. I mean, they're all feature length technically. They're all
over 40 minutes. So yeah.
And most of them now are 90. So those are, I don't know what to tell you, man. Those are movies. Like, without TV movies, you don't have 12 Angry Men. Because before Sidney Lumet directed 12 Angry Men, that was a 50-minute TV movie by Franklin Schnaffer. And then became a TV movie again by Friedkin. So, come on. There's a great history of TV movies.
Yep. Well, and also James Bond. There was like a 50-minute TV episode or made for TV movie or whatever, starring some guy whose name I can't remember. But yeah, James Bond got its start there too.
And so did like every actor that you liked in the 50s and 60s and 70s. They all started on like Studio Playhouse. Yep. That's how they all got their start acting. So like, I'm excited for, it might not even be good, but I'm excited for the Billionaire movie starring Steve Carell. And I like Black Mirror, even though I think it's gotten worse as it's gone on.
Yeah, I really like the way I watch Black Mirror is that my wife watches every episode and then she picks the best ones and I watch those with her. That seems like the best way to do it.
So what I tend to do is I like a movie and then I see that person has also directed a Black Mirror episode and I go watch it. Thing that stinks about that is I watched what I think is the worst Black Mirror episode I've seen that stars Aaron Paul and Josh Hartnett, and it was just like depressing for the sake of being depressing, and I didn't actually have anything to say about technology. It was just more about people being jerks and or not jerks, like psychopaths. So that one wasn't great, but I'm really excited to watch the Giamatti one.
Yeah, that one's really, really strong. I think you'll like it.
All right, sick.